How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And somewhere around like 1988, 1989, a lot of random accessories started popping up for the NES. Actually, from throughout the life of the console. Nintendo released a couple on their own, but we know about those. The two 4-player adapters, the 4-score and the satellite. The two special controllers that they made, the NES Max that had the little analog disc type situation, and the NES Advantage, which had a joystick on it. Both of those were pretty cool. I have a NES Max around here somewhere. It's a little small, but it's a cool controller. Then you had a bunch of third-party stuff like the Freedom Stick and the Acclaim remote control and the Power Glove. And the Power Glove was probably the most promising of all of those little accessories, next to maybe the Power Pad. Thing is, the Power Glove was designed and it had a Nintendo license, but it was designed and sold by Mattel. And Mattel also published 2 games for the NES in the US. A lot more in Europe, but that's another story for another day. The 2 games were Bad Street Brawler and Super Glove Ball. And Bad Street Brawler, I talked about it earlier this year. It had potential to be a really good beat 'em up, but it was super generic. There was nothing there of true promise and true merit. And you're just left with this really dry beat 'em up. And Super Glove Ball was actually, it had some promise there, but as we'll discuss in a second, it was also just pretty blah on its own and felt kind of weird on its own. Today, we're going to take a look at Super Glove Ball. Now, Super Glove Ball was developed by Rare, so we know the soundtrack is good because David Wise was one of the GOATs when it came to composing sound for the NES for most video games. David Wise is way high up on the list. But sound alone and a soundtrack alone does not a good video game make. And this one, actually, it's probably one of the best ideas they could have had for the Power Glove. It's essentially Breakout or Arkanoid, because Arkanoid had enemies that you had to deal with and stuff like that. This was basically Arkanoid, but from a first-person kind of pseudo 3D perspective. And you control the glove instead of a paddle. And this game was set in the distant future of 2005. So the events of this game were supposed to happen, what, 7 years ago as of this recording? And so dude was working on working on a satellite or a space station, something in space, and got sucked into a dimensional rift and ended up in this maze. And all he had was his energy glove and this glove that he used to work on the on whatever he was working on and some energy balls. Huh. And he had to basically make his way through this maze. And you make your way through the maze by breaking out all the tiles on any of the walls. Most levels there are 5 walls. Then there's some that only have 4 and something weird's going on in the background. Or something else. Like, it's a bunch of stuff going on in this game. And not a whole lot of it's very good. The rooms are numbered, but they're also randomized. So you can be in room 1 and then jump to room 35 and then mess around, take a wrong turn and end up at room 0. And yeah, it's weird. There's also warp zones, but the problem with the warp zones is they just throw you somewhere. So they might send you back instead of forward. They might send you closer to the beginning than the exit, or closer to the exit than the beginning. It's weird. There's no map. There's no way to really know where you're going. And playing this with a power glove, I don't see how this will be fun for more than 3 minutes. I really don't. But hey, what do I know? But yeah, this game tried. Rare tried here. But Rare also did not win the grand prize here. And this ended up not being a great video game. It's actually kind of whack. But anyway, if you want a copy of Super Glove Ball for some reason, I've seen copies go for as cheap as $1. Probably about $7-8 is probably a good going price for this game. Most copies are going for about somewhere around there. You should not pay more than $10 for this game. If you do, somebody's trying to take advantage, and you should not let them, because this game ain't good enough for all that. Go get you a copy of Arkanoid if you want to throw some balls at a wall. You know? This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Ayo, Hudson, I see the vision and I respect it, but y'all were trying way too hard.